Hello everyone, welcome back to AAS Publishing. We'll continue with the video series on ethics, and the topic in this module will be confidentiality guidelines. Goodness. Okay, so the journals and their editors are not going to reveal the identities of referees or the contents of peer review related materials to individuals who are outside that specific peer review process for the purpose of quotation and direct attribution for a minimum period of 50 years. Okay. I'll talk about if anybody's ever done that in a bit. But generally we have the 50 years. Most journals will have a 50 or 70 year policy on potentially releasing peer review material. In the case of the AAS journals, it's 50 years. Now, upon application to the editor-in-chief, a qualified historian may be granted permission to access peer review related materials after 15 years, but only for the purpose of aggregate studies and dissemination of trends in scientific opinion. So in other words, these would be anonymized results on particular flows in scientific thought. This is all hypothetical. It's never happened. So this policy is geared toward a future historian who may or may not ever exist. Nevertheless, it's good to have policy in place, so if it does come up, you've got something to go for. To go with. Not to say that you can't revise it, etc., but you've got something now. So these time intervals of generally 50 years, and generally 15 years, apply for individual manuscripts or the last one in a series. So in other words, if you do a series of paper on topic X and it takes you 10 years to do a series of 4 or 5 papers, that 50 years applies to the last one in the series. So the first one may be 60 years or 25 years before it's available in the case of series. So in either case, the requester is going to have to sign an affidavit, right? So it does have some legal aspects to it, promising to observe the conditions of confidentiality of individual reviewers. So requests for permission for direct use of material of a living reviewer before the 50-year exception will not be granted, except in extraordinary circumstances. And again, this has never been tested. This is all moat around the castle, walls and moats around the castles. So it's good to have something there. But in general, if somebody's living, review is not going to come out. Okay. So referees are also bound by strict confidentiality. Neither the manuscripts nor the contents of the referee correspondence may be shared with any party without written permission from the scientific editor. So get permission, particularly if you want to do a non-anonymous review. In some cases, it's perfectly fine. Just make sure that you get permission to do it up front. It certainly has happened where referees have gone around the scientific editor and directly communicated their reports to the authors. It generally results in a big mess. Don't do it. In general, it's going to invalidate that report and a search for a new referee who can maintain that confidentiality, that anonymity when it's desired, will carry forth. So just ask for permission. Don't try and go around the process, basically. Ethical behavior, right? So strictly speaking, authors are not bound by similar confidentiality requirements. For example, authors may choose to consult with their co-authors. Hey, what a good idea. And colleagues when revising a manuscript in response to a report. So yeah, you're definitely going to share it with your co-authors, discuss how to approach it. If an expert topic comes up that's outside the point of the paper, you may go to a colleague, you may go to another expert, hey, what's your thought on XYZ, which you can ask, but you should not share the referee report with those other people. And that gets to the last point. So while you certainly can consult, share the report with your co-authors and seek outside guidance, expertise on particular points that may be raised, public dissemination of reports, of the reports and any editorial correspondence is inappropriate. So in other words, don't post it on your GitHub account, don't post it on Twitter. That's not okay. And authors who do so forfeit their rights to confidentiality provided by the journals. So don't do that. Right? Keep your reports confidential. Okay, so these are guidelines on confidentiality. They're not strict policy, and that's why the topic is guidelines. So keep it in the house. What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas, that kind of thing. Okay, so keep it there. All right, thanks very much. Thanks for this one. I'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.